I'm Dr. G. Yamini, Assistant Professor working in the Department of Computer Science, and here I'm going to deliver a lecture on software testing. So initially, what is software testing, or what is the first stage of software testing is, first we have to plan the test. How the test is going to be executed is defined first. And for the test planning, there are certain steps and elements which is to be followed in test planning. So first you have to define what are the functions, roles, methods for each and every test phases. For the entire test phases, these function, role and methods vary for according to the test phases, and it starts during the requirement. Initially the test plan starts from the requirement stage. So initially when the requirement is correct, each and every phases continuing that, it will be error free. And the major elements which is involved in test plan is, first we have to define the objective of the project phase. So what is the project we are doing? We have to define or justify what is the objective of the phase. And next one is the schedules and responsibilities. So in what time or what is the schedule to be taken for that particular phase? What is the responsibility of the phase? And what are the activities involved in each and every phase? And the last element is nothing but setting the criteria for the test completion. So in order to complete the test successfully, this criteria is very, very important. That is, in criteria, otherwise you can say the planning of the exact test phases. So initially this test planning is defined first before we go for the testing models. And here there are some of the basic notations or definitions which comes under software testing. The first one is testing, second one is verification, validation and debugging. So for each and every software project, it undergoes software testing. So this is very, very important in completing the entire software project. In completing that project, the first stage is nothing but the testing. Then you have to verify the code, validate and debug. Testing, the exact definition of testing is executing the program to find the faults. Faults in the sense you can define the faults as errors. And testing is done in order to identify or detect the faults, or you can call it as an error. And next one is verification. Verification is you have to prove that the program is correct. So the program correctness is checked in verification. And the next term is validation. Validation in the sense the process of finding the error by executing. So when you execute the software project or when you execute a certain phase, if you find any error by executing that particular phase, then that comes under validation. This verification and validation is very, very important regarding the software testing, because when it does not undergo verification, automatically that phase fails. And the validation, if the exact input is given, this is the output to be obtained. So that is to be validated. This is very, very important. And the fourth element of the software testing is debugging. Debugging in the sense you are diagnosing the error. If the error is diagnosed, the correction measures are to be performed and proper measures have to be taken in order to rectify the errors. So testing, verification, validation, debugging, these are the basic elements of software testing. And the next topic is nothing but the types of testing which is involved in the entire software project. Number one, we go for unit testing. Number two is integration, function, regression, system and acceptance. Apart from this, there are many types of testing, but each and every testing comes under this category. So these six can be defined as the main categories of testing. The first one is unit testing. Unit testing in the sense it is otherwise called as, or it comes under the concept of white box testing. Unit in the sense it is referred to as individual components or units. When you develop a software project, the first phase is requirement, second phase is design, third phase is implementation, testing and maintenance. So in that testing, the entire code has to be tested for the verification and for errors. So in that, when you define a project, each and every project splits into different types of modules. So those modules are tested independently, and that is referred as unit testing. So here it is also called as path testing. And the second one is integration testing. Once when the unit testing, individual components, modules are tested, then we integrate the entire components, entire units, and that says integration testing. Initially there are two types of integration. One is top down and another one is bottom up integration. Top down integration in the sense the flow of the control is tested in both integration sites, and here the program is integrated one at a time. That is, each and every module is integrated. Suppose for example, if a project P1 has 5 modules, these 5 modules are integrated one by one in top down approach. And in bottom-up approach, it mainly focuses on the module's functionality, that is how that particular module works and what is the performance of the module. So these are checked by this bottom-up integration. So these two are the main categories which comes under the integration testing. And number 3 is nothing but the function testing. This function testing comes under the concept of black box testing. So initially the black box, and major difference between the black box and white box is black box does not need, or they do not need the knowledge of the program design or functionality. And white box testing, compulsorily the programmer who is going to be tested, they have to know what is the code to be executed. So black box in the sense it doesn't have or no need of the knowledge of the program design, it specifies only the external specifications. But white box compulsorily internal program specifications, internal coding, everything is checked. So white box is more efficient than the black box. And the fourth type of testing is called as regression testing. Regression testing in the sense, suppose if a project is there, some new code or new modules are to be added to the existing one. So when we add any new projects or new modules, the older one should not get altered. So that is what this regression testing does. So this tests the newly changes to the existing code. If the changes are updated in the existing code code should exist as the same. So in order to check that comparison, this regression testing is used. And the last, fifth one and the sixth one, these two are interdependent. One is system testing and another one is acceptance testing. System testing in the sense, when we do a project, that particular project should adapt to the environment in which we are doing. So that system should have the capability of accepting our project. So when we check that type of testing, it comes under system. Acceptance testing, mostly this is done by the customers, not the developers. So they give acceptance for the testing. That is, when we deliver the software product or project to a customer, this acceptance testing is purely done by the customers in order to validate that the requirements are satisfied by the customers. So this is nothing but the overall view of the software testing. Thank you.